This is the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Also catch us on the HWWS Web TV YouTube channel. Subscribe today and become part of the legend.
Now, every Sunday morning, longtime independent comics creator and Indie Volt podcaster Randy Zimmerman hosts a discussion on the lighter side of comics, the more whimsical and fun comics out there on the Sunday Funnies. That's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday on Indie Volt, indievolt.com, the Indie Volt YouTube channel, and the usual Indie Volt sites on Facebook. Listen in, won't you? Participate in the chat. Let's have some fun. See you there.
New from Terraform Comics, Hybrids, The Sons of Gods, Volume 1, Trash Day. When everyday people develop godlike abilities, it is up to a small band of heroes to expose an evil superhuman trafficking ring. This 128-page volume merges history with fiction in an exciting, fast-paced adventure. Get your copy now.
Welcome to Clever Title Pending with your host, Brian K. Morris, independent publisher, freelance hybrid author, award-winning playwright, and former mortician's assistant. Don't send him title recommendations because Brian knows exactly what he's doing. So just sit down and look pretty as Brian K. Morris scrolls through your comments and plays with his mouse. Join him on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, for Evening Pandemonium and Moonlight Madness.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to Clever Title Pending for September 8th, 2020. Holy cats. Hope you're all having a fantastic Tuesday night, and we're glad you're here. And obviously, I'm your host, Brian K. Morris, and whether you're watching live or on the rerun, we're glad to have you here. And if you're watching on Facebook, whether it's on my personal page or Rising Tide Publications or IndieVent, please give that page a like if you would. All right, and share it with your friends so that your other amazing friends can see just why I call you amazing, because you're going to see some really great, wonderful people on the show tonight. I'm not counting me, of course. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please get subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up if you would, and ring that bell so you'll be notified of all future appearances on the platform. And this show is powered by geekinsider.com. Check that place out. Also risingtide.pub. And we are excited because we got an old friend come back on the show here tonight. He's got some big plans he's executing right now, and I'm really excited. And of course, we'll welcome your questions, all right? And if they don't pertain to, your comments don't pertain to the show, we'll probably be flashing them on the screen. And hello to everyone on iHeartRadio who's listening to us, all right? So right now, we're going to bring a really dear friend of mine and a great, great writing talent, Mr. Charles F. Millhouse, to share the screen with me. Charles, how are you tonight?
I'm fine. How are you guys doing?
Well, so far so good. I haven't set anything on fire or messed anything up, so I guess I'm doing all right. So anyway, thank you. Yeah, score. Yeah, yeah. I still got a couple hours though. Who knows where this is gonna go? But anyway, thank you for being here. And right now, I'm gonna take the pressure off of me, of course, and because nobody else will. And Charles, I'm going to give you the floor here and all the dirt on it, so that you can tell everyone who you are and why you are so darned awesome. All right, so take it away, Charles.
Okay, for those who don't know me, I'm Charles of Millhouse. I'm an independent writer and publisher. I run a small publishing press called Stormgate Press, and we're slowly starting to get into publishing other writers and artists. We're doing some anthologies. We just had one come out called Tales of the Weird and Strange, and we have another one coming out soon called Pulp Reality. You can find all of our works, everything coming out in news on stormgatepress.com, and you can also find me here on Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook, at author Charles F. Millhouse Presents.
That's fantastic. All right. And like I said, if you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, please send along your questions, because we're going to give you a lot of stuff tonight. And I hope you got a pad and paper and some writing implements, because you're going to learn a lot tonight. Now, you mentioned Stormgate Press. And by the way, you'll see the address for Stormgate Press on the crawl, stormgatepress.com. Check out all the stuff that Charles got on there. What do you have on your website? Let's start there.
Well, of course, everything that I published over the past 21 years is on there. And then we have a place that's called publishing.stormgatepress.com, and you can go there and you can see everything that we're currently publishing. Like I mentioned, Tales of the Weird and Strange. And you can find guidelines if you want to submit art or stories to an upcoming anthology, because we're going to do a second Tales of the Weird and Strange, and there's going to be a number 2 of Pulp Reality. So a lot of stuff happening, and if I could just keep up with the website and everything else that I'm doing, that'd be great.
Yeah, the folks who say that you and I don't have like real jobs,
Right.
They don't know when you're an independent writer and publisher. You wear many fezzes in this business. So,
Yep.
Well, yeah, you mentioned Pulp Reality and Tales of the Weird and Strange. Let's show those covers, and maybe you can tell us a little bit behind. Let's start with Tales of the Weird and Strange. What can you tell us about this magazine?
Okay, Tales of the Weird and Strange is the brainchild of a friend of mine, Lawrence Everett. He came up with this idea. He published a book, Ghostly Legends, telling about local folklores in the area that we grew up in, which is Athens, Ohio. And so he went one step further with Tales of the Weird and Strange, and started collaborating with other writers. And they're telling stories in their area. Like Rick Bradley has one in there called the Murphyboro Mud Monster, and that's in his area in Illinois. And then I wrote one of the Ohio Grassman, and Lawrence wrote a story in there about the Mothman, because we're not too far from the Mothman area. So we collaborating with all these writers, and Lawrence did most of the art for this publication, and he's to something he really wanted to do. And so far, it's doing really well. It's getting some good press. A lot of people are liking what they're reading, and we're just excited about it.
That's great. That is super. And then we've got another one here. And Pulp Reality #1. Tell us about this book here. And I'm going to drop Bill's comment real fast so you can see the glorious cover there. Who did that?
That is done by Damien Alves. He actually also worked on the cover for Tales of the Weird and Strange. Lawrence drew the initial cover, and then he gave it to Damien, and Damien did some changes to it, and colored it for him. Nice. But this one, I just told him, I basically gave him an idea of what I wanted and let him go at it. So he's in Mexico City, and he's done a couple covers for my Captain Hawkins series. He's a very talented artist, and he's got a lot of different things coming and going. You should check him out. And Pulp Reality is basically a pulp adventure magazine. Brian has a story in it. Bobby Nash has a story in it. Kelly Austin's got a story in it. And they're just adventure stories, old pulp style adventure stories, in the vein of, Indiana Jones or The Mummy or Doc Savage, that kind of thing. And there's eight stories in it so far, and we have 8 different artists providing the art for it too. So, and this one was supposed to come out in January of 2021, but I'm thinking it's going to come out a little bit sooner than that if we can get I'm putting all my ducks in a row for it. So I'm excited about this one.
Well, that's great. I'm excited for it too. And now you say it's a magazine. Why did you pick? I take it it's going to have like staples on the spine and stuff, or is it going to be square bound or what?
I call it a magazine, but then I've slowly started switching it, calling it just a publication, an anthology, because I could have went the route of doing it as an old style magazine, but then the cover price would have been enormous, and I wanted to keep the print cost low so I could keep the cost of the publication low too. So every once in a while I'm going to say a magazine, but I really mean publication. It's basically a book. It's 8.5 by 11 in size. So it's a larger size.
And happy Star Trek Day to Sam Dan.
Hey, Charlie.
We know Charlie. And we also know that
he's also doing some work for Stormgate Press. He's doing a comic book. It's called The Family Orbits, and you can actually see one of his characters there as his avatar. That's coming out in the next couple of months, I hope. He's finalizing it, and hopefully we'll have it on the stands before too long.
Fantastic. Yeah, we want to see that. And speaking of familiar faces, if you watched last week's show, you'll know this name here, Mr. Clayton Merwin. How you doing, Clayton?
Clayton, you showed up for this show, and I missed yours last week. I'm sorry.
Wednesdays we'll get you on, and Bobby Nash and Clayton Merwin, and I'll go out for a pizza. No one will notice. So anyway, that'd be a great show.
Clayton's done the art for Bobby Nash's story in the Pulp reality, and it's Lance Starr, Captain Hawkins crossover, and is a beautiful piece of art. And he did the cover for, how can I get that in there? There it is.
Tilt the top down. There we go. My TV training.
Captain Hawkins and the Ghost Army. He did an incredible job of that. Everybody's loving this cover, and I love it too. And when I was actually still writing the story when he gave me this cover, so it really influenced the way the story went.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I hear you. That's great. That is super. Now, I also know that Bobby Nash, who's been a guest on this show one time with you. Check out our back files for that. He's doing his character Lance Starr meeting your character Captain Hawkins.
Yep.
And then you got some other hack doing. I don't know why you let that guy let.
Yeah, I can't remember that guy's name, but I don't know why I let him write Captain Hawkins, but I did. But Brian's writing the Captain Hawkins story too, and it is really good. And he created a really great villain, and that villain's probably going to show up in a Captain Hawkins book. So
that's why we did it.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Didn't have to wrap it or nothing. So very cool. And we've got all kinds of people saying hi right now. Good to have you here. And if I can't acknowledge everyone, please accept my apologies. But whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, you are appreciated by both of us. And we have someone else who is contributing to my Doc Saga anthology, along with the wonderful Charles F. Millhouse here. And thank you to everyone who's sharing this video. Thank you, Charles. And thank you, everyone else. The notices went by too fast for me to notice, but thank you for sharing this video. Cindy Camp would like to know, what is the best feature that you look for in stories? As an editor, what grabs your interest and to make you say, hey, I want to see how this turns out?
Characters, strong characters. I want to see strong characters because the story comes from the characters, and I look for somewhat originality when it comes to a character. I look for, am I going to like this character or am I going to hate this character? However they're writing it. So yeah, when it comes right down to it, it's character for me.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, in letting other people write your brain children, do you keep an eye out for anything, or do you just let them have? I ask questions that I know the answer to, but do you ever feel the need of like, oh no, he wouldn't do that, or you need to do this to keep more in character? Have you had much problem with that from your wild gang of writers?
No, well, besides you and Bobby, everybody else who has written for the anthologies are all completely original characters. But for you and Bobby, when you wrote Captain Hawkins, you both read the books. I think you both had a grasp on the character. So there wasn't hardly anything that jumped out at me saying, "Oh no, Captain Hawkins wouldn't do this." So yeah, and you wrote some stuff with Hardy and Oz in the story too, and you got Oz just right. It's exactly how it is. So, yeah.
I love those two characters. They are. I look at them as kind of like the new Monk and Ham.
Yeah.
To be honest, a great pair of characters. Gave me a lot to work with. That was such a joy. So, and we've got some more comments here, and this segues into something we were going to ask later. That CM Davenport says, I just announced my new comic book I'm publishing through Stormgate Press. Charles, you want to drop some information on us, or is it too soon for that?
No, it's not too soon. We've posted the cover, and we've done a video or two on it. It's called The Family Orbits, and it's about a family of aliens. Charlie has taken time to write a comic book that is family-friendly, so
nice.
Parents can read it to their kids, and kids can read it. And parents don't have to worry about them seeing something that they shouldn't. It reminds me of the old Disney comics back in the day, like Uncle Scrooge and things like that. And he's done a really good job. And there is going to be a second issue, and I'm going to write a 3-page story, backup story in it, with a couple of characters from the family. So I'm excited about that.
Well, that's great. That's great. And I'm getting notice. I'm getting notice of people sharing this video, and I want to acknowledge those that I can. Bill Sarden, Ted Davies, Candace Camilleri, mwah, and Christian Basil. Thank you all very much. It's greatly appreciated. And someone else who's greatly appreciated, and you'll know this name too. It's almost like this is your life now, Clayton, or Charles F. Millhouse. Bobby Nash. I'm excited to be part of Pulp Reality.
Yeah, I'm excited to have him there. Yeah, when people started coming to me after I announced it back in late February, early March, I was taken back by all the people who wanted to be involved. I mean, I'm going to read off some of the names.
By all means.
Okay, well, of course, Brian K. Morris, Stephen Burks, who's doing the art for your story, Bobby Nash, Clayton Merwin, Clyde Hall and Ted Davies, Paul Burrell and Andy Shaggy Cordy, Pete Lutz and Lance Footer, Rick Bradley and Lawrence Everett, Charles F. Millhouse, that's me, and Damian Alves, Kelly Austin, and Candace Carmelli are all involved in Pulp Reality #1. And some of them are already wanting to come back for Pulp Reality #2, so I'm excited.
Well, I'm one of them. I've already put my bid in. And we're going to be doing a Doc Savage, Captain Hawkins team up. So, and Bobby Nash has the right priorities. Pizza, yummy. And there's Teresa Dunn, Candace Camilleri. Thank you all, and thank you, Brian Rodman, for sharing this show also. And here we go. Carl Westman says there's a spot in our house where you can hear Brian in stereo since Donna and I are both watching. That's probably one too many of me. Ed Williams, a great illustrator. Glad to see you here. Michaela J., thank you very much for sharing this show. It's greatly appreciated. And Bobby Nash says, Lance Starr meets Captain Hawkland was a ton of fun to write. I know I had a blast.
It is a great fun story, yeah. Both stories are all the stories in there. In #1 are each have a unique style and flavor, and when a person reads those stories, they're going to be enthralled in the characters that these people have created. So I'm excited. I've read the stories, each of them, a couple times, not just for editing, because I really have enjoyed the stories that everybody is putting into this issue. I can't wait till people can read it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. And by the way, we were talking marketing before the show here, so we're gonna push that out. And Amy Hale, thank you for uh, sharing this show. Greatly appreciated, hon. And hi, Amy. We love you. And Amy was supposed to be on the show tonight. I'm very grateful that Charles stepped in when something personal
I'm
came
not
up.
near as pretty as Amy, but I'll just do the best I can. So
You're gorgeous in your own way. You're all lovely. Don't make me come over there and spank you. It might save you $20. And Joe McKeel is sharing this show on his channel. Thank you very much, Joe. Don't forget Stupid O'Clock Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Also Saturdays at 11. Now Cindy Kemp has a great question here. What are your pet peeves that writers do? Is there, like, in the assembling of this book, did anybody do anything? And it's okay, I'm in the room. Go ahead and take it out on me. Is there anything that anyone did that kind of ruffled your feathers, kind of made you, or did you get any submissions that did, kind of made you think twice?
No. Now, when it comes to story wise, no. Everybody did. Everybody that was involved with the stories. Kelly Austin, this is her first published story, so I'm helping her a lot, just getting things together. She's really nervous about it, but she's got a great piece of art going to go along with her story. And but I think my biggest pet peeve, just for putting together Pulp Reality, and I think Lawrence can probably say the same thing because he did all the editing and formatting for Tales of the Weird and Strange. It was that every writer formats their stories differently. And which is leading me to think that I'm going to make a video and post it, how to format your book the Stormgate Press way before you send it to us. That way I don't have to go through and reformat to fit because one of the problems we had with Tales of the Weird and Strange, everybody was so different formatting, and we didn't catch that until we had started putting the magazine or the publication together, and it threw all the stories off. So we had to go through and format them all in the same way, and the way we thought we liked it. And so now it works better. So I think pet peeve would be getting everybody to format their stories the same way, which isn't the end of the world by any means, but it's just another step we'd like to eliminate when we're putting the books together.
No, I can see that. I've done some stuff for Stormgate Press, and one of the things they have in their information packet is how we are to format our manuscripts before we turn them in. So I think it's a great idea, because one thing I've been stressing is that how to say this nicely, that our job as writers is to make the editor's life as easy as possible, and I think that goes a long way, just knowing how to format. And Teresa Dunn and Bobby Nash, thank you both for sharing this video. We're going to have Charles on every broadcast now because you're sharing our videos. So, no, it's greatly appreciated.
I'm a new co-host now.
Yeah, I'll see you guys. I'm going to get that pizza now. Y'all have a great night. And here he is taking over for tonight. Anyway, my job's in danger here. I got to start doing things right. Anyway,
I need one of those fezzes.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's one I got to spare. So anyway, author Michaela Jade, glad you're here, hun. How do you market a book you aren't thrilled with? Now, I've got a quick answer for that, but are there books that you have now? You've been doing the professional writing thing since the late 90s, I think it was, before this interwebs thing got going.
Right.
Yeah. So we doff the fez to you, my friend, because you didn't have half the tools that we have now.
No networking or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, how do you find shows? How do you find places that'll sell the book? How do you price match? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when you look back at your older work, like most of us, you might be thinking, I can do that better now.
Yeah.
And with that that kind of thinking, yeah, I'll vamp.
This is my very first book.
And it is?
This is the Dark Frontier Saga, Keepers of the Past.
Uh-huh.
You can't get this book anymore unless you are like a friend of mine and find it on eBay for an extremely too much money. I'm going to rewrite this book. This is the first book I published in 1999, and I cringe when I go to look through it. But the idea is sound, so I'm going to rewrite this book. I can't market this book now just because it's unavailable. People can't get a hold of it. But a lot of things that I have written, if I don't, everything I write I like, or I wouldn't write it. Now, Michaela may be asking about something I may have edited for somebody else. So far, I haven't run across that. Right now, I'm just publishing short stories, although Kelly Austin is going to be doing her first novel coming out, and we're going to publish it for her. And I've been helping her with that, and it's pulp. And a little bit more. We'll tell a bit more about that in the coming months. But I haven't come across anything yet that if I get a book, I'm not going to publish a book I'm not thrilled with. So therefore, I couldn't be able to market it either. So if I publish a book, it's because I believe in that book, or if I publish that short story, I believe in that short story. I've not come across that point now where I've got a short story come in and say, this doesn't fit me. I can't use it. And I know that is eventually one day going to happen. And I hate to be that kind of person, but I want to make Tales of the Weird and Strange. I want to make pulp reality the best I can make it. So when people read it, they want to come back for more. So.
Exactly. Yeah, and my answer was going to be, well, don't put out stuff you don't think you could stand behind. Although sometimes, especially when you're writing for someone else, you sometimes have more control over the final product than others. Like, I was just discussing with Charles, I'm going to be sending back, I've got some edits coming back from my copy editor, who knows punctuation and this English language of yours far better than I do, apparently. And so, I'll give it back to Charles and, all the contributors, and they can give it one last shot, because I want everyone to be happy with it. I want everyone to be able to, market this as hard as I do and to be proud to be in it. So, but yeah, if you aren't thrilled with the book, I don't know what to tell you. Get on if it's published by somebody else, make them do more of it. Say, you need to promote my book.
Yeah.
So that my name isn't attached to it. Anyway, Clayton Merwin says, what would you do if given the platform to create a national publication? And what would it be? Charles, what would you, if you could get on the newsstands of America, what would you put there?
If I could get on, I would keep doing what I'm doing now. I would love to see a Captain Hawkland or the anthologies that I've done show up on national stage on at airports and things like that. That would be great, and I think that's every writer's dream, is to be on that stage. I was telling my son is toying with the idea of starting to write. He did it for a long while, then he kind of got away from it. He's wanting to go back to it, so I think he's probably going to write something for Stormgate Press. I'm going to help him get published. And I was telling him earlier today, there are the big publishers. They're like the big game. We're the minors, and they're the major league. And every writer's dreams in the minors is to go to the big show, and get out there in the real publishing world. We are in the real publishing world, but to get on that status of Jim Butcher or Clive Barker or something like that, I think that's every writer's dream. And you posted something earlier today on Facebook about somebody wrote a book about making money off your writing, and if I wrote for money, I wouldn't be writing. because I don't make a lot of it, but I love to tell stories. I always have. When I was a kid and we would sit on the front porch at home, I would make stories up, and that's eventually how I first started, and then I started writing those stories down. So I just love to write. So I think if you are writing to make money, then you need to stop.
Yeah, because there was a time when Stephen King wasn't Stephen King.
Yeah.
He was, a school teacher in Maine. And there's so many writers who had like close calls of, giving it up just before the lightning struck them, sort of thing. So just keep at it, but do it for the love of doing this and for the people that you can surround yourself with. Because if you, like Charles said, if you do it for the money, you're hosed. And I think for a lot of us, money is like a benchmark that that's how we can tell we're doing a somewhat decent job. Plus, it allows us to do more writing. We can move it into promotion. We can move it into setting up at shows or getting more doodads to make the job easier / better.
And
so
you get to that point where your writing is paying for itself. It's paying for your cover art. It's paying for your editing. And once it starts doing that, then you start just to push a little bit more, and the next thing you know, you're making a little bit more and a little bit more. But I always try to keep myself grounded. I don't want it to go to my head. Like I said, last month I had a killer month, but then when the new month started, everything tanked. But that happens, I guess, when you release a new book, and then it just eventually levels out. Ideally, I want people to read my stories and enjoy them. If they do that, then I've done what I set out to do. So,
well, Clayton Merwin said, "Hello, Bobby. It was fun to draw as well." And Bobby Nash says, "Love that cover art you did." And Amy Hale makes a rather bold claim here that you, Charles F. Millhouse, are more fun than she is.
Oh no.
And everyone's saying hello to each other. Ed Williams saying hi to Clayton Merwin. And Dave Woodrum, formatting is where I'm the biggest pain as a publisher, but it has its usefulness. For me, it speeds up production. Now, could Stormgate Press get to the point where you are, I know you have a kind of a semi-staff now. Yeah, Mike, I do too. I sleep with my staff. We've been sleeping here since for 29 years. Put that together, people. Do the math. Anyway, but no, do you see a day where maybe you could get Stormgate Press to be at the point where you have to hire somebody else to do everything that's taking you away from your writing?
That would be great. And when I created Stormgate Press, I think I originally did it how Bobby Nash created his little imprint that he has, Ben Books, just so he could put something on these covers. That's how I kind of really started that. Then it organically started to change, and I started to, started wanting to think about publishing other people. Now my wife is my editor. She's really good at it. She took a lot of time to study it, and she's really good at it. And I also have another friend. Her name's Rose Shababy, and she does some editing for me too. And she is also a writer. But yeah, one day I'd like to get it to that point where I will let somebody else handle that, so I can write my stories too, and then pass it off to them. So yeah, that would be good.
That'll work. Bill Sarton says that a bad storm is almost on top of him in Danville, Illinois, and it's headed towards Lafayette. It better stay the hell away from us right now while we're on the air. So if we go off, you'll know what happened. So Bill, stay safe, man. Stay safe. And Cindy Kemp asks, do you have any funny anecdotes about submissions you've got? Now, we talked about the potential. Who is calling me? Oh, someone else. Anyway, the danger of keeping your phone nearby. Anyway, do you have any funny anecdotes about putting together your books? Your Tales of the Weird and Strange and Pulp Reality. Surely we've talked about the potential for encountering stories that maybe aren't up to snuff, which fortunately you haven't gotten. But do you have any humorous side notes from the process of collecting these anthologies?
Gosh, it's a good question.
Yeah, very good question, Cindy.
No, I can't think of any.
So it's all been unrelenting misery, okay?
It's all been, and I would imagine somewhere down the line, I'm going to hit this bump or something like that happens.
Yeah.
But I can't say much for the Tales of the Weird and Strange because I didn't have I have a story in it and I helped with some of the formatting, but the editing was all Lawrence and his team. But for Pulp Reality, it just went very smoothly. Everybody told me what kind of story they were going to write, and the artists, confided in me on how they wanted to do the art, and I just said, just go do it. And it worked out. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to do it. But that's how I did it. I guess most funny anecdote I can think of is that I'm just dumbfounded that it's working out. And so far I haven't hit that bump, but everybody's story's in but one, Rick Bradley. And
not that we're outing him or anything, Rick Bradley.
Rick Bradley. There's my buddy Dennis Dyer.
Yeah. He's been mentioned on the telly. Very cool, Dennis.
But no, I think I have nothing that's thrown me for a loop at this point anyway.
Well, it's good to hear because Bobby Nash wants some reassurance saying, you mean my 24-point Comic Sans font wasn't to your liking? Bobby, I submitted mine in Wingdings. Don't feel bad.
Yeah.
It's like you figure it out. And let's see. CM Davenport says he's got a copy of that. But Clayton Merwin, being the completist, says, so are there any copies of your first book available anywhere? Do you go on eBay or whatever and check to see if somebody has one of those?
The buddy there, Dennis Dyer, was the one that went to eBay and spent way too much money on that first book. I am surprised it was on eBay, so I went to look to see if there was any more, and thankfully there's not. At the last time I looked, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that it got me into where I'm at today, publishing that book. I knew nothing about sentence structure. I knew nothing about dialogue. I knew nothing about point of view. I learned all that after I published my first book, which I should have done that backwards. And, I should have learned that first. In a lot of ways, it's like my marriage. We did everything backwards.
That's my social platform. I understand. Yeah.
We got married. We had kids. We went to college. We bought a house. That order.
You weren't following a checklist very well, were you?
No, we weren't.
Oh my God, that's funny. And Clayton Merwin says that's what I wanted to hear, Charles, because that is what you do best. Excellent. And now Cindy Cap she is a fount of great questions. She's going to host this show. To heck with me. She's a lot more fun too. We'll have Amy Hale and Cindy Cap on this show, and Charles and I'll just retire. Anyway, this is an excellent question. We have been talking about pulp writing, and we both consider ourselves new pulp because we've got a book that says we are. And Cindy Cap asks, what are the defining characteristics of pulp fiction? And we're not talking Quentin Tarantino here.
Right. Well, for me, when it comes to writing pulp characters, especially if I'm writing the hero should be, gleam in his smile and a sparkle in his eye and, straight shoulders and could do no wrong kind of character. A lot of ways, Captain Hoagland is like Doc Savage. I even gave him companions like Doc Savage has. And even in Lance Starr. He's the same type of character. He's out to do right, for the good of right. I mean, and usually I don't like to write heroes that have, especially in pulp. Now I've done it in other things, but in pulp I don't write heroes that have a drug problem or have a drinking problem or beats his wife or something. The hero is the hero, in my opinion. And I have played around with a character, Zane Carrington, who always believes he's going to do bad because he wants to make money and be able to stay one step of the law because he's running from the law. But in the end, he always does the right thing. And that's what I think when it comes down for characteristics of a pulp character should be always doing the right thing.
I'd agree. And pulp tends to be a little more fast-paced than a lot of contemporary writing. Probably before now, we've got such great practitioners, such as like Bobby Nash, who's here right now. And I saw Greg Geek was in our audience too. Greg, good to see you. But there are a lot of people carrying on that tradition of strong characterization, solid values. Yeah, I guess you could say, and get to point B as fast as possible with an economy of words. So I think that's part of it.
I have people come up to me at shows and they'll say, "Can my son read these books?" And I'm always happy to say yes, he can. You can read it to him, or he can read it. I keep, if there's any swearing, it's usually damn or something like that, but I never go much further than that. Right. I want kids to be able to pick it up, and when I was growing up, I had heroes to look up to. I mean, for me on television it was Captain Kirk, or in books it was Doc Savage, or it was The Shadow. Or I want kids today to have a hero they can look up to, and I think Captain Hawkins, Lance Starr, those type of characters are characters that kids can look up to.
Very cool.
They don't make enough of that anymore.
No. A lot of people are thinking just the opposite. If anything, I'm as sick of grim and gritty as anyone could possibly be.
Yeah.
Now, Cindy Kemp continues, to agent or not to agent. Now, do you have an agent, and or are you just doing it yourself? You're your own agent.
I do it all myself. I've tried to get agents. I've put queries out for agents, and I don't do it religiously, and mostly because I do it myself. And I have known some independent writers who have gotten agents and who have gotten signed with publishers, but they're small press publishers. And if you get really signed up with a small press publisher, you might as well just do it yourself. I mean, we're both small press publishers. We can't throw a lot of money in advertising. So we have to rely on those creators to carry that weight. So, I try to tell everybody, if you come to write for Stormgate, you're going to be, you're going to be asked to help to do a lot of the promotion, get on videos like this. And we're talking about doing something like that. So I don't have an agent, and I've tried, but not sure I will ever have one. And I'm okay with that. So.
Yeah, same here. In fact, I've never tried to get an agent. Of course, back when I started writing, it's like you could approach like the large houses without an agent, but right. I don't write the kind of stuff that they publish, so why would I?
And if you get signed if you don't have an agent, but you miraculously get signed with one of the big publishers, you need to get yourself an agent, or they'll eat you alive.
Yes.
Because you'll need an agent that understands all of those contracts they're going to throw at you. I would just say, okay, I'll sign that, and get yourself in a world of trouble. So you need someone that's going to look out for your best interest. Of course, that person's going to take a nice little chunk for themselves, but if you do get to that point, that's when you really need an agent.
Yeah. Or if you're, like you said, like Charles said, if you're dealing with Hollywood or any place where you are selling your IP or renting it for a while, you're giving someone an option, like say a movie, even a small independent producer, you're still got to have somebody looking out for your interest, because again, that's somebody handling something that otherwise you would have to. So you'd have to learn how to read a contract.
Yep.
And learn all the ins and outs, whereas this person probably would earn their keep by, smoothing the waters for you. So Bobby Nash, I hope he was sitting down when you made the revelation about this, Charles. What? You can make money doing this? You can. It's not good money.
Hey, Bobby, that's what I hear, man. That's what I hear.
Yeah. Some months I tell them, you know what? Supersize it. We've had a good month. You know what I'm saying? And Bobby Nash has been in the game long enough. He knows writing income is very much feast or famine. That's true. We are the probably most of us have the worst credit ratings as possible to have, because our income probably looks like an EKG reading. So
mine's more like this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I've been doing okay. This this year, even with the My Sharona Miley Cyrus Peter pandemic. Now, how now I'm not asking for numbers, Charles, but how have you gotten through all this? We haven't been able to go to shows. We might have a show at the end of this month. We'll tell you more about that later on as things firm up. But how have you been? Spending your time since the lockdown began?
Well, I have done one show.
That's right.
Back in July, and it was actually a really nice show, and I did really well at it. But I did a lot of Facebook stuff. I would give free shipping, or I would buy one get one free, or I did a thing called an adventure box where you could buy all of the Captain Hawkins for a reduced price and with free shipping. So anything to get my stuff out there. And of course, I don't know about everyone else, but my ebook sales stayed pretty steady during the lockdown. And I really pushed towards ebook sales more during that time to try to make them go up. And they did go up. So, but I did mail out a lot of stuff to people from the house, and that's always fun. So I wish I could do like Bobby does and draw on my boxes. Like superheroes and stuff, I just can't do that. So yeah,
I got to order something for Bobby just so I can get a drawing from him. I'm telling you.
I thought about the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I used to draw. I mean, one of the things when I did something very similar to what you did, Charles, was have sales and offer free shipping and everything, which is becoming a thing now on Kickstarter. That when people ask you to contribute to their projects, a lot of them are now including the shipping in the asking price, or lowering their profit margin, just so you don't have to worry about shipping. That this is the price you pay, period. So that might be something all of us authors think about, because we don't know how long this is going to last. Just the fact that Charles and I may be doing something. In fact, I might as well mention it. It's no big secret. It's not a secret. Charles and I, along with a couple other people, Amy Hill, I believe, will be one of them, and I know of at least one other person that's trying. I won't announce her until she confirms. But we are doing something called Non-Con, which will be in Middletown, Ohio,
Yep.
right?
That's just north of Cincinnati.
Just north of Cincinnati. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump for Charles, and it's negligible for me. I'm only about 3 hours away. Notice how your perspective on travel changes when you do this a lot. 3 hours, I used to say, screw that. I ain't getting out of the chair. Now it's 3 hours. That's all. No problem. I'm there. It's a local show. But yeah, we will be going to Non-Con. It's going to be a great paranormal event. That'll be going on September 5th, and was it 25th and 26th, or 26th and 27th? It's that weekend.
It's that weekend, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 2-day event. I'm only going to be there on the Saturday.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. Mostly just to hang out with my writer friends. So
yeah. Same here. You know, that's the main thing for me. It's like, and if I sell a book or two, so much the better.
And the tables are free. We can bring our own table.
And the admission is free.
And the admission is free. So it's a nice little show, I think. I mean, table's free. I'm there. Free's my favorite word.
It's my second favorite word.
It starts with an F, right?
It starts with an F. Yes, fire truck is my first. I love those little tiny fire trucks. I really do. And Eric Hawkins has joined us. Eric, glad to see you. Artist and writer of the Zombieful World of Oz. And Eric Hawkins says, semi-staff, drink. Well, see, Charles just did. Now, talking about promotion, Cindy has another great question, and it's something that's been on Cindy's mind, I think I can say, as it is on all of us that are independent publishers. How do you improve your signal-to-noise ratio? How do you last year, Amazon, through Kindle Direct Publishing, published 1 million independent books. You know, we're not talking about a major established, you'll find them all the time in Barnes & Noble and Books A Million publisher, but folks like Charles and Cindy and myself and many of you. And we've got a lot of, you know, I don't really consider anybody competition per se, but there's a lot of people saying, hey, look at me. And how, you know, what are you doing to get people to look at you?
Well, do things like this for one.
There you go.
A lot of exposure video wise. My buddy Lawrence does a lot of videos when he goes out to promote books. I try to shoot some videos. I just think the best thing to do is just to you have to keep at it. You can't stop. It's not one of those things where, today I'm going to promote and then I'll do it again next month. You got to do it every day for the rest of your life if you want people to remember you. It's like driving down a highway and you're on your way to work every day and you pass a billboard and you see that billboard every day. But 6 months later, as you're driving by that billboard, you finally look at it and you see what it says. And that's the same way with promoting yourself as a writer. People are scrolling through your feed on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or what have you, and may not pay attention. Remember the story I told you before we went on air, how I scrolled past you before I finally said, well, what's this guy all about?
Yeah.
So,
and it's been unrelenting misery ever since. I understand. So.
Yeah, it's been tough.
I know. I'm hell to be friends with. I understand.
My mom said it'd be days like this.
That's right. You didn't think it the rest of your life, though. Can you tell we're friends? Anyway, but yeah, and those are all great points, you know, and you're reaping the success of those activities. Another thing I'll add is that, you know, Cindy, you're doing something like this, you know, like Charles and I do video, and the thing is, I think when people get to know you, they kind of, you know, people will buy from people they like. And so, you know, people get to know you better, then chances are they will take a risk on buying something from you. So, you know, and Cindy, you know, you were on like the indie event a while back, and you made a huge impression on a lot of people. Now, you know, the jury's still out about how effective online conventions are as sales ideas, but there's some people coming up that have some interesting ideas that I think we're going to see the needle move pretty soon with any luck. So just keep at it, Cindy. Don't ever give up, because I think you've got at least 2 people here who believe in you. All right. Yep. And Clayton Merwin says, Charles is so laid back on the show, unlike me last week where I was like all over the place. That's okay. You were a fun show, man. Clayton, I loved having you on. And, you know, if you think that's the last time you get on here, au contraire, mon ami. In fact, anyone's on this show once is, you know, they're going to get tagged again eventually. So, which is why Charles is here. So
this is the first time I've ever done this show solo. Usually you had me with Cindy one time, and you had me with you had me with Bobby the other times. This is my first solo time on here.
Yeah, and you're doing a great job.
Yeah,
So and that's the thing. I like having panels every now and then, and I think we're going to move into like panels, then some solo shows, then panels. Because we did one that we need to get back to, and it's imposter syndrome. Because that's something a lot of us have to deal with on a regular basis, unfortunately. But then again, I love these solo shows where I can just have somebody like you, or Clayton, or Amy Hale, or whomever just come on here and let everybody get to know and love them. So anyway, that's part of it. So we're going to be doing some more solo shows, I think. So and let's see, here we go. Bobby Nash, who we will tag and bring on here again sometime soon, I promise, Bobby. Ben Books has a staff of one, and it's Bobby Nash. Now you know who the BEN is in Ben Books.
and he works that person to death, too.
I know. He's making that person drop in every package that goes out of the building. Good God. You're a cruel taskmaster, Mr. Nash. Oh my God!
Never goes on strike.
Oh yeah, no joke. You're up the creek then. But be sure to check out BobbyNash.com, also BenBooks.com, as well as AbrahamSnow.com.
Wonderful.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I'm re-listening to the audiobook of Snowfalls, and it gets better every time, Bobby. Seriously, it's great stuff. Carleen on YouTube says, yeah, it's been storming most of the afternoon. Yeah, Carly, we got, we were told this morning 20% chance of rain in Lafayette. So, it was a windows down kind of day. And then, like, I'm sitting at home, about 3 hours ago, and then suddenly I'm hearing, like, earth opening up level thunder. So it's like nothing yet. I'm not hearing anything on the roof of the compound yet because we do have the metal bomb doors up top. So so if anything happens and I go off the air, Charles, you're in charge. Just like Alexander Haig in the TV show. Charles is in charge here. And we've been talking about that mighty writer income. Apparently Clayton Merwin is having the same problem. We have that. It is up and down. But the thing is, I have to say I've been doing this full time since 2012, and I've not had so much fun. Watching that little graph go up and down and up and down. But it's been worth it. It's been worth it because how many, so many people here I wouldn't know. Including you, Charles, if it weren't for my writing, because my broadcasting is a direct result of that. So sometimes the payment in this business is not tangible, but it's worth so much more than lucre. Yeah. And Cindy Kemp says there was a very energetic storm that hit here last night late. Yeah. I heard. I think Teresa Dunn was telling me also that something hit lower Iowa last night pretty hard. So it got pretty vigorous, and I just noticed the light going whoop. So
it's been beautiful here. We've got real nice weather and low humidity, so it's not been bad here at all. So you guys can keep all that.
Oh, sure. We'll be glad to do our part for you, Charles. Just remember us. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like this afternoon after I heard the thunder and I got, my little phone started melting down with weather alerts. And it's like like 4:01, it's cloudy, looking like midnight. 4:02, it's sunny. Then 4:03, it's cloudy again. It's been like a real kaleidoscope here. And Teresa Dunn is verifying. Our weather girl here is saying, hate to interrupt, but have to go. Bad storm hitting. Thunder and lightning. Okay, you take care of yourself, girl. You got that? And if anyone has to leave the room, feel free. Our feelings will not be hurt. You can watch us on the rerun. We'll still be good. You can add your comments, but we're going to ignore you. Anyway, Cindy Cap says, funny adventures I've had as an editor, writer, short sleeve shirt. Only the writer left out every R. Wow, left out every R? Holy cats, I hope I'm reading that right. A personal a personal. I remember a Doctor Who story by Lance Parkin. It was like a very short story where some time traveling thief stole the letter E, and the story was written from that point on until the Doctor found the E, and reestablished everything as it was. I guess but the story just wasn't the same. Anyway, a personal goof I made: flying around the room, I saw two birds. It was not a superhero tale. I think we've all had those moments. Okay, I'll tell mine. Because Charles, I know, doesn't have any. But I was helping, Cookie and I were helping write a role-playing game system. Oh, this has been about 15, 20 years ago. And I was doing a section on how to behave at the game. Help, chip in on the pizza, wait for others to act, don't demand the spotlight, that sort of thing. And I posted something in there to the extent of, if you have any sort of actions you want to do that could change the nature of the game, because, that's what role-playing games like Dungeons & Dragons are about, surprises. It's all improv theater, but with dice. Well, I said you should be warning the GM. Well, that's what I intended to write. But, the M and the N keys are very, next to each other on the typewriter. And the M jumped under my finger. I swear that's what happened. So I've been living with the shame of having advised innocent gamers to be sure to warn the GM. And you know what that means. So that's my story. Thank you, Charles. So that's my tale of woe. That's my tale of shame. So, but at least I have all my R's about me. Maybe not my wits, but my R's definitely. Charles, do you have an embarrassing story you want to humiliate yourself with?
No. Yes, but no.
Yes, but no. Okay, fair enough. You're far smarter than I am, young man.
I've got a lot of them, but no.
Yeah, I was just lucky I could just pick out one. So anyway, here we go. Brian Rodman, glad you're here, brother. Thank you for sharing this show. What would you say are the biggest obstacles that you face right now as a publisher? That is a super, super question. In fact, we were talking about a few of them earlier on, but right now, Charles, and I'll pipe in on this too when you're done, but what do you think the biggest obstacles are right now for folks like you and me?
Time.
Time.
Because in the fall months, I work a full-time job. So by the time I get home, I only have a limited amount of time. So spend some time with my wife, of course, and then decide, do I edit someone else's story? Do I write my own story? Do I just push it all aside and watch cat videos on YouTube? Which I've done, but time is probably the biggest thing for me right now. In the summer months, that's not a problem because I don't work. Time. That's the big thing for me. I wish I had more of it.
Yeah. Time, and sometimes our vendors are not as diligent as we'd like them to be. And right now we're having problems with the Postal Service and Amazon since Kindle Direct Publishing took over CreateSpace. Some of us have seen a downward turn in the level of service.
I don't know what they're doing. And we talked about this earlier. I ordered copies of the new Captain Hockland book, and they send 4 in an envelope, and then the rest of them they ship the same day, but in a different box.
Yeah.
But they didn't charge me any extra shipping. So I don't know who's pushing the buttons there, but they need to figure out what's going on. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I was telling Charles that I know someone who was putting out a book through a Kickstarter campaign. He had to order like 150 copies of his book wholesale from Amazon, but instead of sending them in like probably would have been about 6 packages, 6 boxes or so. The way they used to pack them and pack them so very well. Instead, they sent them 150 books. They sent in something like 145 envelopes. In fact, I've been getting my books, small orders of books, in envelopes lately, rather than boxes. And if I do get enough to warrant a box, there's not enough packing to keep them from moving around. So, so just one of the many things we have to contend with.
I miss create space, that's for sure.
I do too. That was such a fantastic service. They were so professional and so helpful. Their customer service was beyond reproach. And like you said, I don't know what monkeys are pushing the buttons right now, but they need a whole new set of them. And my good friend, cover artist supreme, Mr. Trevor Hawkins, joins us from YouTube. Glad to see you, Trevor. And he would like to know, Charles, what defines new pulp as opposed to, say, old pulp?
Well, new pulp is characters that are created modern today, and they're like, for instance, Captain Hawkland and Doc Saga are characters that are created today by new writers who are picking up the mantle of the pulp genre from the day. Of course, pulp got its name from the paper that it was printed on back in the day. That's the only thing that really made it pulp, was the type of paper. And then you had two-fisted heroes, and it just depends on the area, the time era that you were in. In the 20s, 30s, and 40s, everything changed, and pulp kept moving forward. Of course, the publications got better. But today we've picked up the mantle and created new characters, and just kept that idea of the hero alive. Like we were talking earlier about, the hero could do no wrong kind of thing. Keep that story idea going along, but with new characters.
Very good. And also, I would add that there's probably a certain amount of a little bit more social conscience, shall we say, that there were, if you search the history of pulp, there were some very progressive characters back then. Yeah. As far as treatment of race and religion and ethnicity at times. But then there are also times when it fell down very severely.
Especially during the war times, definitely.
Yeah, a lot of the yellow peril stuff, that a lot of media has just about every media from that time has something to apologize for. And I think we see a little less of that now, which is something I think is good to address. Nothing I want to sound like I'm, banging the drum for it, but, it's written with a little bit, we have a different way of thinking now, and that's what I like to see in a lot of the fiction that we see now, or like Charles said, it's, a revival of, what we've seen in the past, with our own characters. So, Joe Dog, and hello, Meredith Walgren. Mwah! Thank Meredith for making this show look so awesome.
Hi,
Joe
Meredith.
Dog, yeah, we all love Meredith. Mwah! Joe Dog Keel says, have you ever killed off a character before you planned? As in mid-sentence, boom, they're dead. And how did you react? Charles, have you ever killed off a character prematurely? Or have you committed these despicable acts with full weight of your actions?
Yeah, I've killed off characters before that I was expecting to have a lot bigger story arc for, but it worked for the story at the time. But then that death of that character had ramifications because their story was to continue. So now that they were dead, their story couldn't continue, but there were still things left undone by that character that the other characters had to pick up. So yeah, I've done that. I've also done. I've kept characters alive that I was going to kill, that I created to kill. I said, I really like this character, so they didn't get killed. Or I might have killed them, and then I've gone back and before the book was published and rewrite that whole scene because I didn't like it.
And see, we've got some great comments coming up here. And Bobby Nash who knows his way around a pulp book like nobody's business. Pulp doesn't meander. Pulp tells its stories. There are rarely side moments that are not part of the main story. That's true. It has a faster pacing. And it's not just like heroic pulps like Captain Hawkland or Doc Savage or Doc Saga. Pulp, like Charles said, it mostly describes the paper and the style of storytelling, but they had romance pulps back in the day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. I'd love to write a Western pulp. I think that would be so much fun. So any publishers out there who would like to employ me, hi. BrianKevinMorris@gmail.com. Anyway, author Michaela J says, do you regularly submit to people or bloggers for review?
Not regularly, no, but I've done it. I should do it a lot more. And luckily, knock on wood, I've gotten a lot of good reviews from those I have sent to. So it's probably something I should really, and I think a lot of writers probably should do that more. Send a PDF or a physical copy, or however that reviewer wants it. Send it to them so you can get a review for it. Yeah.
And definitely, if you are a writer, definitely leave a review for your writing friends. When I was one of the beta readers for Absolution, Charles' fantastic space opera book, and the first thing I did, that book wasn't even cold before I got to the keyboard and started telling everybody how great I thought it was. So, Charles, well, I'm glad to, man. I'm seriously glad to. That's the thing. It's like. I'm not trying to promote my book. Amazon reviews made Less Impossible available on Smashwords and Amazon. I'm not trying to promote that, but not me, never me. But but it does point out how important reviews are to all of us. So please, when you read a book, please leave a review, even if it's a negative one. It does help us, believe it or not, in so many ways. Yeah. Carl Witzman says, when we were young, we used to hear radio ads for books and perhaps even a TV ad. When was the last time you saw that? Even the big guys don't promote. I think the writer has to pull the load now. And that's very true. I have seen ads for J.K. Rowling. I've seen ads for the new James Patterson plethora of books that he probably didn't write, who, by the way, is doing a shadow book, I found out. And he's got the license from Condé Nast. So if he hires me to write it, you'll know. Anyway, I wish. But anyway, or like any popular novelist, advertising for the big five anymore is not to introduce you to brand new writers who are so freaking amazing. It is to tell you that your favorite writer has a new book out and you need to get down there and buy it. So that's why it falls on us to beat our own drum. And I will tell you, I'm sorry, Charles, go ahead.
Do you remember when Marvel Comics used to promote comics on TV?
Yes. And DC did the same thing for the New 52.
Yeah.
And that was, what, 10 years ago?
Yeah. I think the last book I saw promoted that was in a science fiction genre was one of the Dune books by Brian Herbert.
Right.
So the last time I had seen a book promoted on television, they just don't do it anymore. Because I don't watch a lot of mainstream TV anymore with the commercials. So I just missed that. So.
And that's the problem. A lot of people aren't reading that stuff or watching mainstream TV either. I cut the cable years ago. But and that's one thing I was going to say, that a number of publishers, a lot of contracts that I've read in the last few years, they put something in there that we expect you to help promote your own damn book. And I think that's valid, and I've gotten gigs because people see that I will promote my own work. And, if you want to publish your own stuff, then you need to promote your own work, because how else is anyone else going to figure out that you're there? And if you're published by somebody else, you need to promote your own work because your publisher is relying on you. So, QED. And Ted Davies Artistry, thanks for sharing the show, Ted. Says contract copyright attorney is my advice to book agents. Yeah, definitely. I mean, some of us can read contracts. When I'm a former mortician's assistant, I learned how to read and write contracts. because I did pre-arrangement. And pre-arrangement is real estate. And real estate needs a contract. So I'm pretty good at contracts. But if Steven Spielberg says, we'd like to make Santastein, guess what I'm spending $200 an hour to do? I'm going to run down and get me I'm going to lawyer the hell up is what I'm going to do. Here we go. Cindy kept Pulp Fiction is like the old radio dramas. And she mentions one of my favorites right there. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. One of the best. And I'd say, wouldn't you agree? That it's fast-paced and strong characterization, lots of twists and turns. Yeah.
That's how I write it. I mean, if you read the Captain Hawkins books, it's one adventure after another through that book. It's nonstop. It's pushing you towards that end. You slow down for a minute to build a little characterization, but the next thing you know, someone's getting punched in the face. So that's how it goes. Especially when I write pulp, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if that's 100% the way you do it. That's the way I do it. So.
And that's what makes them good. That's why I'm rereading the one Captain Hawkins book I was reading when I wrote the story for you about the Rocket Men and all.
Yeah.
I'm rereading that.
Awesome. Sky the Pirate.
Yeah, Sky Pirates. That's it. Yeah, I'm rereading because I enjoyed it so much, and this time I'm doing it. Not to pull all the details out, but I'm doing it for me this time. So that's a good writing to do for you. Clayton Merwin says, speaking of movies, Captain Hawkins and the Ghost Army would make one hell of a movie. I agree.
I agree, too. I think it would, too.
Yeah.
I'm biased. Yeah, I think it would, too.
Yeah, buy several dozen copies and get your friends to do the same thing. Okay. Cindy Kemp says, I was able to do a QuadCon and sold more amigurumi than books. That's fine. Covered the table, rented some. Well, you got to do what you got to do. I've got a friend that writes steampunk, and he has these very steampunky 30s sci-fi handguns made as props on his table. He usually sells more of them than he does his books, unfortunately. So now Bobby Nash here says not having cons has hurt, especially Dragon Con last weekend, which is my biggest sales show of the year. Yeah, all of my heavy hitters have gone the way of. But 2021 will be better. And we are all going to make it that way, or else. But damn it, be better 2021. And
you're not.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, I tell people what 2020 has done for me. I still have my sense of taste, but I've lost my sense of amazement anymore. It's like meteor's going to hit the Earth. Fine. It's like murder hornets. Oh well, mark that down on your bingo card. Yeah, it's like all these forest fires. Forest fires in September. Yep, okay, that's a spot on the bingo card there. So.
And that's okay. It's going to be a boy, so.
That's right. There we go. See, that's all we need to worry about. And Bobby Nash continues. He says, I think I should sell the art and give the books away. Well, you could do that. You could say, for every $20 piece of art that I mail you, I will send you a free copy of one of my snow books. See? Bobby will take 10%. And Rick Bradley must have heard his ears burning from earlier because he has not turned it. Because he's not turned in his story for Pulp Reality. Not that we've been ragging on you, Rick. And I would never rag you because I was probably one of the first to turn mine in. Anyway, good evening to you, Rick. Thank you for sharing this.
Oh, Rick's left now.
That's right. Say now, try and get it for my cold dead hands is when you get my manuscript. No, I'm looking forward to it, Rick, because you've got some good work out there, and I know you are going to. Yeah, that's right. It's going to be awesome. It'll be worth waiting for. And Russell Allen says, hey, troublemakers. What, nothing for Charles? Come on, man. I'm not the only person in the room. Russell Allen, russexplode.com. Also, XenonaniteTitan.com. Check it out. Bobby Nash says, I got a bolt, gents. I've enjoyed your chat. Talk soon. Bobby, thank you for being here, brother. You're a good friend. You're a great talent. Yeah, we will talk to you later, Bobby, and thank you for being here, brother. You have a great night. Good to see you. And Meredith Logren says, Carl, I've seen book trailers on local TV. Not so much since the beer bug, but creating good ones for book promotion used to be, is/was another business sector that's affected. Yeah, that's true. A number of creators have kind of put their pencils down and started wringing their hands, whereas like the company in this screen here just kind of like said, oh, that's nice, and just kept on writing because we got a job to do. So. And that's the thing, that in the creative arts, there's a lot of people. It has kind of like a domino effect. I know I've had to delay some things because of the Peter pandemic, but we'll get through it. We'll all get through it. Carleen from YouTube says, listening to rhythmic beat of water dropping into tote on other desk. Really beginning to hate rain. She has a leak in her roof, obviously. And she's been waiting for quite some time to get it fixed, and apparently tonight's not that night. Stay dry, Carly. And Rick Bradley, people have asked me about what I want to make writing, and I'm like, I wouldn't turn down millions, but I'd be happy with my writing supporting itself. There you go. I think that's a very good goal right there, my friend. And poor Carly, says Carl Witzman. And, here we go. Arthur Michaela Jade says, I blame Amy Hale. She introduced me to Brian. I think that's valid. I'd really be annoyed with her right now. And Thunderstorm and Lightning, very, very frightening. Yeah. And here we go. Speaking of publishers and writers and poets, there's Ariana Archeri of Cherry House Press. Good to see you on. And Cherry House Press hopes to be lucrative with its new magazine, the Onk Quarterly, due out in October. Perhaps we'll break in with a thunderclap. Well, hopefully not tonight. So Carl Witzman says, that's cool, Meredith. Maybe it's just that national television advertising that is gone. Well, with the dropping numbers that even the big networks, the big 4 or 5 networks used to have, they don't draw the same crowds they used to. So, that's why things like Amazon advertising, Facebook advertising, Google advertising, what have you, are probably more effective right now than national advertising. And Ariana Archeri says, and it's opened up a new online poetry hub with everything poetry. PoetryEssentialsHub.com. For now, we still have day jobs supporting us as we are both essential workers. And Charles does an important job feeding people every day, whereas I am a wart on the bum of society. Anyway, I'm unemployable is what it is. Ariana Cherry says, hello, Charles F. Millhouse and Brian K. Morris. Mwah, glad to see you. Can't wait to see you again sometime soon. Ed Williams, Brian, I have to ask, do you wear a fez for a certain reason? It keeps my head warm.
And they're cool.
Fezzes are cool, so are bow ties. Charles and I share a passion for a certain fictional character.
Fiction?
Well, that's what I hear. That's what he wants you to believe.
I got a blue box out in my backyard telling me they dropped it off. So
I need one for my Funko Pop collection. Did I say that? Anyway, but yes, I do wear it. It's part of my branding. Branding is important, and I have to wear like a bow tie, a decent shirt, and fez, and even these glasses and the munchops are part of it. We can talk about branding some other night, but I do it to make up for my total absence of a decent personality. So that's why I do it, Ed. Otherwise, I am totally forgettable. I'm like the silence. Meredith Logren, hey, I was in the obituary department. I cannot tell you how many times the family or funeral directors send in information about a public viewing. Dear Lord, give them L. Yeah. Yeah, we all have challenging bits of writing, and I've got to say, that you learn a lot from working on newspapers, even in the obituary sections. Meredith's a terrific writer. Also check out wildoneforever.com, her morning show and audio blog. Carl Witzman, talk about your Freudian slip writing up. Yeah, that's what this whole show is about. Let's see. Let's get some more questions here. And it's his uniform and how he stands out from the crowd. Plus, he's a Doctor Who fan. And Ed Williams didn't know if I was a Shriner or a Mason. They have cooler fezzes than I do, so I will say that. And Rick Bradley agrees with us. And so the most important. Oh, here we go. Now this is a good question. Now he's throwing it back at you, Charles. So the most important question: when are we going to see more of Serena Darkwood? And tell us who Serena Darkwood is, if you would, please, Charles.
Serena Darkwood is the main protagonist of my space opera book you're talking about, Absolution. I actually have it. Hang on. Actually, there it is.
There we go. Great book too. See, but not everybody's as prepared as others. You know, they have the books to side.
There you go. There's going to be another Serena Darkwood book. So here's what's going to happen first. I have to finish writing a book that I'm doing now, which is called, and I'll announce it here, Evolution Man. I've talked to Brian about it. I've actually shown him the cover. Jeffrey Hayes has done the cover for it. It's a great looking cover. Fans of the $6 Million Man will like Evolution Man because it's set in that same vein. It's actually also set in the 1970s. So when I'm done with that and I've put Pulp Reality to bed, I have a project I'm working on with my buddy Lawrence. He and I are doing something together, and we're not quite ready to announce that yet, but that'll be coming out. And then I'm working on a project with another artist that he kind of wants to keep it secret a little bit, but we'll announce that soon. And then when I'm done with that, we'll write the sequel to this one. I'm hoping this will be out in late summer next year.
Cool.
And then I have another Captain Hawkins coming out next year too that I need to write. So lots to do. Time. It's all about time.
I hear you, but it's worth waiting for all of that. And I want to say a very special hello to Mary Ann Millhouse. I'm keeping that's somebody who's probably checking up on you and making sure I'm keeping you out of trouble and not leading you astray.
Well, yeah, she knows all about you.
Oh yeah, she does. She's seen me in action. So Mary Ann, glad you're here. Mwah. And C.O. Bast, it's good to see you. How are you, hon? Mwah. It's a friend of mine from Silicon. Glad to see you, C.O. Hope your night is going well. I hope to run into you eventually one of these days. Amy Hale says, now, have you ever written an ending that you knew was risky? He might not please all readers or might not be a happy ending, but went with it because you felt it was right.
Yes. Actually, Absolution is like that. It's
really?
not a happy ending. And it didn't go the way she hoped. Actually, the whole idea that she wanted was to make money from it. Then she ends up falling in love with the person she was going to hold hostage. But she didn't end up with that character at the end of the book. He had to go off and do things. So, yeah, it was...
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler. Yeah. Everybody here has already read that book. So...
Yeah. True. That's true. And loved it, by the way.
I know.
Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, that was for me risky. I mean, could have made it. I could have done the happy ending where she goes off and everything is fine, but I didn't want to do that, mostly because I wanted to write more books. So that has something to do with it.
And while author Michaela Jade makes her way to bed because she's got a reasonable job, unlike me, Brian Rodman wants to know a Shadow radio program question. Who was your favorite actor to portray the Shadow?
Ooh.
Yes.
I don't know. I guess when I listened to him, I only heard the Shadow. I didn't hear Orson Welles and the other. I guess Orson Welles probably because he was the first one I ever heard as the Shadow. I can't remember the names of the other ones. And Brian, you probably know them, don't you?
I do, but I'm blanking out. Orson Welles was my first one as well. I heard his, I think, during a set of the Longines Symphonette that my mother had purchased for me to let me know why she could live without a TV, and I couldn't. I was about 8 or so at the time, and that's where I got my love of old time radio. But who was the guy? And one of you Nevermorians is going to know this. The gentleman who succeeded him, the guy who did it for many, many years. I think that's mine, more than even Orson Welles.
Really?
Yeah, I think because I've heard more of him. It's kind of like if like I know you're a John Pertwee devotee from Doctor Who, but if you watch nothing but a steady diet of Tom Baker, that may wind up being your doctor anyway. So Brian, this is terrible. We're both having aphasia right now that we can't remember the names of anyone but Orson Welles. But mine was the guy who took over for him, who did the show for several years. So that's my answer. And let's see, here we go. And Cindy Kemp wants to know, what is your next snazzy project, Charles?
Well, I just went through the list. Evolution Man project, or getting the Pulp reality done and ready to go, and working on a project with my buddy Lawrence that I'm really excited about. I'm trying to get Evolution Man done so I can start working, because he's writing part of it and I'm writing the other part, and I've never done that with anybody before. So it's interesting to see how that's going to work out.
Very. And let's see here. Rick Bradley says, yeah, I know. I got till Monday because I've not found the Time Infinity gem yet. Well, sir, all we can say is we're waiting on that. We're waiting on your greatness. So get busy.
And Rick, I know when I get it, it's going to be great. So
it's going to be awesome. Going to be fantastic. Clayton Merwin, hey Charles, maybe you could do a Captain Hawkland audio broadcast show every week like they used to do with The Shadow. That would be pretty cool.
I wrote a script for an audio adventure, and I thought about getting people together and recording it, and I just have never done that. But yeah, that would be great. That'd be fun to do. Just at least to do one anyway would be fun to do, and it'd be great for promotion. So
yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd listen to it, that's for sure. And Cindy Cap says, branding talk and know your audience talk would be lovely. Well, we'll put that down in the books, and we'll get an all-star panel, see what we can do about that. And on that, Cindy Cap continues, on that, Charles, what is your branding?
Well, I don't have a snazzy fez. I have the Captain Hawkland shirt that I wear, if you can see that.
There you go. I don't have my own shirt.
But as far as branding goes, I have been here recently, because we're Stormgate Press. So I've been doing things like When Lightning Strikes and Lightning Strikes Again, that kind of thing, to try to bring that into Stormgate Press so people can kind of remember that. So I guess that's kind of my branding, just trying to keep Stormgate Press into people's mind.
Very cool. And Donna, Carlene just missed getting struck by the ceiling. That's good. And Ed Williams says, gotta go, guys. Thanks for a great show. #inspiration. Ed, thank you for being here, guy. Appreciate you, man. And hope you'll come back next time we do this. All right. Next week's show, by the way, we're going to have the great Luke Stone, artist, writer, comic creator, publisher. And he's in the closing days of his Kickstarter, as you saw at the spot at the start of the show. He's got an Indiegogo campaign for the trade paperback of Hybrids, the Sons of Gods. And he's looking for some love on that thing. So please check out that link. As you'll see on the ad, we'll probably have it later at the close of the show. And let's see, I just shot past a whole bunch of people, and I think we got our answer, too, coming up. So stay tuned, everyone. Joe Dog McKeel says, tapping out super secret mission planning session. I know what you're saying, brother. I look forward to it. Let me know how it goes. Hope you have a great, great night, Joe Dog. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. And don't forget that stupid o'clock Thursday evenings at 9 Eastern Time and 11 p.m. on Saturdays. Check it out. It's a great after-hours con talk you love. And later, says Clayton Merwin.
See you later, Clayton.
Take care, Clayton. And sometimes I feel like a happy ending where everything fits together is kind of forced. Cough, cough, Stephanie Meyer, cough, cough, says Rick Bradley. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you can tell when an author is like we're going to have a happy ending come hell or high water. So I appreciate you sharing your story there, Charles. That was great. And here we go. Cindy Cap says, Brian. I say, Cindy, what? You need to check out Adam Graham's show, The Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. Can send a link on a program that won't squash it. Hey, yeah, send me a PM on that. I'd be interested in that. That sounds cool. But you mentioned yours truly, Johnny Dollar. I love that show. Have you ever heard that, Charles?
I think I have.
The Man with the Two-Fisted Expense Account. And every episode was like he's an insurance investigator, and he reads out the line item, like 20 cents for a cup of coffee. Yeah, Moonstone just did a book about him about a year or so ago with Tommy Hancock and stuff. So anyway, here we go. Thank you, Brian Rodman. Brett Morrison is the one who played the Shadow after Wells. He was my favorite as well. He had more of a bass, creepy tone to his voice, and the laugh was perfect. I agree with you. Then thank you, Brian. I just, I get this aphasia sometimes where I'm just trying to concentrate on, too many things, like not trying to look like a jerk and things like that, which I fail. But try and keep the show going. But thank you, Brian Rodman. I knew my Nevermorians would not let me down. And Bill Johnson was the Wells replacement, says Clyde Hall. I think it's Brett Morrison that I'm thinking of. I remember Bill Johnson. I don't think he lasted that long, but I think Brett Morrison was the long-time one. And Clayton Merwin says Victor Jory was the 1940s actor to portray the Shadow. I know he did the serials. He did the serials. Now here we go. Alec Baldwin played the Shadow in 1994. I love that movie. That was a fantastic movie. And Brian Rodman says, yeah, Bill Johnson. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Serious.
So yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Where'd you get that now?
So I was watching it the other night. I bought it on Amazon.
Oh yeah.
I had a copy, but it wasn't in Letterboxd, so I bought this one.
Oh hell yeah! But yeah, that's a fantastic movie. It and The Phantom. I sometimes, Cookie and I sometimes have a double evening. There we go. Slam Evil. Slam Evil. Yes. Oh, those are so good. And Clyde Hall agrees. Johnstone and Brian Rodman is claiming sleepiness. No problem. I never let fatigue get me down, no matter how much I should. And Charles says, Meredith Loughran, I hope this isn't a terrible question, but have you ever been tempted to kill off Captain Hawkland with a hero ending and close the series? That is an excellent question.
No, I've never thought about that. No, I have thought about writing a story called the Last Great Adventure of Captain Hawkland. But in one of the books I wrote, it shows a future where he's an old man. So I don't see me killing him off in an adventure. No. But before that, no, I've never even thought about it. Shame on you, Meredith. Shame on you.
The giantess, she is evil. She is spreading discord here. Shame on you, Meredith, a dozen times. Anyway, that's the best news I could hear, because you hear about Arthur Conan Doyle grew to resent the success of his character because he had other characters he wanted to do, but you have other characters too.
I do.
And and it's good to see that you don't have that resentment, because like I said, I'm rereading your Captain Hawkland book, and I'm just enjoying it even more the second time. So,
Meredith, my Captain Hawkland action figure is staring at you.
Wither under his accusatory gaze, Meredith. You brought this on yourself.
No, there is going to be an ending to the series. There's going to be only 10 books in the series. So there's 2 more to write. And then I'm going to write a novel set between 1940 and 1945. It takes place during his time in the Second World War. And then I'm going to put the character away for a while and work on other things. And I might go back one day, maybe do some short stories set in the 30s and 40s. Maybe even write a couple books called The New Adventures of Captain Hawkland or something. But after the war book, we're going to put him away for a while, and so I can just concentrate on other characters and other stories and things. So
very cool. Well, keep publishing Pulp reality. I understand there are probably some other people that might be interested in taking up the mantle again. Amy Hale says, we love Johnny Dollar, also the Whistler, and Harry Niles, because she corrected that in her next thing there. Damn you, autocorrect. And Rick Bradley, The Shadow, The Phantom, and The Rocketeer. Now that would be a good movie night. Yeah, Rocketeer, one of my favorite all-time films. Yeah. Here we go. Cindy has another fantastic question. What's the biggest challenge for writing a continuing series?
Well, with Captain Hawkins, it's kind of always been a challenge. I wrote the first book and set it in 1938. And then I decided when I was going to write the next book that I was going to write it in 1934. So none of the books have been written in chronological order. You can read any of the books in the series and get the whole story of the book. You don't have to read it from book 1 all the way through to book 10. But the challenge has been keeping my continuity straight. When I'm writing a 1932 story, I got to remember there's something that happened in 1937 and that it doesn't contradict each other. So that's been the biggest challenge with this series, and I won't ever do that again. But it's been fun just writing it out of order. The next book, the Captain Hawkins and the Ghost Army was 1936. But the next book I'm going to write is 1931. So it's going to be interesting because you go back, you're going back a little bit, and the characters are a little younger, and they haven't done things yet that they will do later. So yeah, that's the challenge for writing that series.
I can imagine. Yeah, and I'm listening, and I'm thinking, why didn't I think of that when I created Doc Saga? It's like, oh man, my stroll through hell has just begun. Anyway, Meredith Logren says, "I killed the things," and mocks us with laughter. I love you, Meredith. You're awesome. And Clayton Merwin says, "Kill off Captain Hawkins? Hell no." Have you ever seen the movie Misery? So if you feel
I know not to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Captain Hawkins, there'll be Clayton at the door.
Oh, no joke. We're going to have to keep it going just for him. Yeah. If you feel something around your ankles, be careful, man. Don't fall asleep when he's around. And Cindy Kep asks, how dense are your notes?
They're pretty extensive, especially with the timeline of Captain Hawkins. I've just got notes and notes and notes of stuff of him, Hardy, and Oz. And some of the secondary characters, of course, too, but really those three, because their stories are so intertwined that I've kept really good notes. And then actually I was looking through my notes last week and I realized that some of my notes contradict other parts of my notes. So I had to go back and fix it.
That's part of the Mandela effect, people. Charles did have them in order. He had everything right, and then reality changed. Okay, and Meredith Logren says, "Send all hate mail to me." No problem, Meredith Logren. Report.
Meredith, no one could hate you anyway. You're so sweet.
Right. That's right. You're adorable. Good God. It's like microwaving a puppy. Nobody can do that sort of thing. But anyway, a cat, yeah, no problem with that. But anyway, you tell the dog people in the room. But anyway, then thank you, Rick Bradley, and thank you everyone who shared this show tonight. Very, very happy with it. And Jim Robb, glad you're watching. Thank you, sir. And let's see. What did I forget to ask you? I think we've run through everything. Tell you what, let's. Why don't we go through? We'll show a couple of the covers, and then we'll have you. I had it ready. Holy cats! Anyway, why don't you tell everybody why they need to purchase it and where they can get it, please, Charles.
Okay, Tales of the Weird and Strange, of course, is on Amazon. But if you're in the Athens, Ohio area, it's in Little Professor Bookstore here in Athens. It's in Belpre, Ohio, at the I can't remember the name of the place, but it's there. But mostly you can get it on Amazon, or you can get copies from me or from Lawrence. They're trickling in because we're having technical difficulties with Amazon. But hopefully, when you're ready to buy some copies, we'll have them on hand.
All right, excellent. And then let's get everybody excited about Pulp Reality #1, like I am.
Pulp Reality is going to come out. Like I said, originally it was going to come out in January, but once everything's been submitted and I have time to start putting it together, maybe mid-October, early November, we'll be ready to roll on that. And then the promotion's going to start. We're Bobby Nash and Brian and I are talking about doing some things, and hopefully we'll get all the other creators involved too. We can have everybody on a show, or at least 10 of them anyway.
Yeah, definitely. We are going to work on that. And Cindy Cap has the next comments here. Let me get this out of her way here. There we go. And one cue theme song of Unstoppable by Red. And y'all done good. Thank you for hosting. Thank you, Cindy, for being here. Thank you for being here. Seriously. Thank you all. And don't forget to tip your host. That's paypal.me/RisingTideBKM. And go buy all of Charles' books. I agree. And Rick Bradley says, buy all of Charles' books once he gets the story in. The clock is ticking, Rick. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Rick, I've got some art for you, too. Once that story gets in, guess what? We're going to mail it to you.
Ooh, Rick, if that isn't incentive, I don't know what the heck is, dude. Nobody's making me offers like that. I'm telling you, you're rising in this world. So anyway, Charles, thank you for being here. Charles F. Millhouse, you are awesome, dude. It's always a good time. It's always a good time. So what I'm going to do is one last spotlight here. Then we'll send you out, and if you'll hang around, we can talk for a few more minutes.
Okay.
And I'll close out the show. But anyway, tell everybody where they can find you and just how awesome you are.
Well, everybody says I'm awesome. Sometimes I doubt myself, but I'm glad everybody likes what I do. You can find me on stormgatepress.com. You can find me on Facebook at Author Charles F. Millhouse Presents. It's my group. You can come to the group. You can start your own conversation. You can promote your own stuff there. I want you to come there and promote stuff, your books, your art, anything. And then you can find me on Instagram at Writer Millhouse and on Twitter at Writer Millhouse.
Fantastic. All right. It has been, as always, a definite pleasure to have you on, Charles. Thank you, my friend, again. And stick around. We'll close out the show. And Amy Hale is just getting home, so she's going to bed and wishes us all a good night. Amy.
Good night, Amy.
Sweet dreams, Amy. Good night. And I'll take over now. And good night to all of you. Hope you all enjoyed Charles as much as I did. He's always a treat. Please check out the work of Charles F. Millhouse, all right? That's stormgatepress.com. Check out the crawl at the base of the screen here. And check him out on Facebook and every place else because he's quite a talented young man. So anyway, thank you all for being here. So appreciate you being here for this episode of Clever Title Pending. As I said, next week, Luke Stone, the author and artist on Hybrids, the Sons of Gods. He's putting out a trade paperback with a whole bunch of new items in the package. And if you want to find out more about what's in his package, hi, Meredith, check it out. Check out next week's episode of Clever Title Pending, all right? And be sure also to go to risingtide.pub where you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter. It goes out the first of every month, and the next issue will be going out October 1st. So please check it out. We've started doing some different things in there, make it a little more entertaining. Plus, we put in all kinds of cool videos and inspirational quotes and such, and guest editorials, and sometimes an occasional book discount or two. So check it out. We provide motivation, education, and inspiration when you sign up for the free monthly newsletter, the Rising Tide newsletter. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, thank you very much. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video, give it a great big thumbs up, and ring that bell so you'll be notified of all of our future appearances. And if you're watching on Facebook, whatever page you're watching on, whether it is IndieVent or Rising Tide Publications, please sign up for those pages and enjoy the goodness that are on all of them. In fact, Rising Tide Publications, which is our publishing arm, we post 3 or 4 times a day on there, all kinds of really cool things, all kinds of news and things you can use. All right. So again, thank you very much to Charles F. Millhouse for appearing here. It has been a delight, and thank all of you for your great questions and your participation. It is always appreciated. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for Clever Title Pending, the interactive talk show where you are my co-host. So please check us out. We'll be putting up the post for that later, so you can watch that. And now this is me, Brian K. Morris, thanking you all for being here on Clever Title Pending for September 8th, 2020. And remember, stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. Thank you very much for watching Clever Title Pending.
Now, every Sunday morning, longtime independent comics creator and Indie Volt podcaster Randy Zimmerman hosts a discussion on the lighter side of comics, the more whimsical and fun comics out there, on the Sunday Funnies. That's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday on Indie Volt, indievolt.com, the Indie Volt YouTube channel, and the usual Indie Volt sites on Facebook. Listen in, won't you? Participate in the chat. Let's have some fun. See you there.
This is the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Also catch us on the HWWS Web TV YouTube channel. Subscribe today and become part of the legend.
New from Terraform Comics, Hybrids, the Sons of Gods, Volume 1, Trash Day. When everyday people develop godlike abilities, it is up to a small band of heroes to expose an evil superhuman trafficking ring. This 128-page volume merges history with fiction in an exciting, fast-paced adventure. Get your copy now.
Thank you for tuning in to Clever Title Pending, a Rising Tide Publications and Brian K. Morris production. A member of Comic Book Advocating Network and sponsored by GeekInsider.com. Become part of our show with sponsorship and advertising opportunities. For details, contact advertising at GeekInsider.com or visit podcast.geekinsider.com. The Geek Insider podcast is available on your favorite app, so please hit the follow button and share it out to your friends. Because if you don't, you might have to turn in your geek card.